The symptoms we have is the ABS not working, the engine management light, and even sometimes it says you can't go into reverse, but it comes and goes. At the moment it's back to normal, but as soon as you go half a mile down the road, then the ABS and the anti-skid things will come on. So obviously it's the ABS sensor, so let's go ahead and change it. So the new part's just arrived. It's the Febby-Bilstein ABS sensor for the left wheel. I think the left and the right are the same. So what we'll do now, we'll take the wheel off and we'll see if we can get it to fit. Right, this is the ABS sensor. We just need to remove it with the Torx socket and then disconnect all the cable that runs around there. So we need a Torx socket. There you go. Just remove that. Take a nut out to start, bolt rather, and then the plastic housing comes away. That just unclips like that, and then you need to remove the actual sensor from the hub. Now this was very tight initially, so you might need a bit of prizing, but I've loosened mine off, so it should come out relatively easy, and it's not, so we'll have to get a screwdriver on the back of it. So a gentle pull after we have the screwdriver behind, and that's removed. And there we go. I mean, obviously it looks okay. That's the hole where it picks up its impulses. So let's go remove the whole lot now. Right, the cable simply unclips from the arm, and then it disappears inside there. So then we need to maybe take the cover off to get at it now. So unfortunately, the cable goes through there and drops right down into this wheel arch cover. So looks like I've got to take the wheel arch cover off to get at it. Oh well, here we go. Now with a couple of screws from the bottom cover removed, I just tied the bottom part up to give you some room to move, and then we find the cable is attached to this little bracket that fits on this plastic bracket, and that's where it connects. So first then you have to prise this away, press this up on here, and then it should, if I push it hard enough, it should release. Come on, let's do it. Come on. There we go, I think that's gone. Yeah, that's gone now. So push it out and then just pull it out the back, like so. It's a bit tight, it will go, I'm sure. Come on, you will go. That's it, we've got, there we go. And there we are. And that's where we connect our new cable. The cable is connected to this block here, so you need to pull this off. It's a little clip on there, but you need to pull it off to gain access. There we go, it's pulled off. And then you remove the bracket, and then you allow them to pull these two apart. And all we've got to do is just feed the new cable through and connect it all back up again. There we go. That's the fittings back on to the plate, and now I'll just put the plate back in. It's a little bit fiddly, but it's not too difficult. through the back, like so. There we go. And slide it into that mounting there. Right, that's that support bracket in now. That was a blinking nightmare to get that in actually. It took ages, but no, it's just slid in nicely. So all we've got to do is just clip the cable in place all the way around, and then bolt the sensor back in. Finished underneath now, so we'll just remove the cable that's holding the cover over and put the cover back into shape temporarily. We'll do that, and then we'll just now continue to clip the cable back in to where it came from. Right, the sensor's back into the hub now, fully seated. All we have to do now is just replace this bracket, which snaps into place like that, and then just replace the little Torx bolt. Torx bolt going in. So just need to tighten it up, and we're good. That's the bolt put back in, and now we just make sure everything's okay. The cable's attached properly, which it is, all the way around. And now all we've got to do is put the bottom cover back on. Just took a couple of little screws in the bottom cover. And we'll test it. Okay, that's all done. Final check, make sure everything's in place. Cable, the under tray's fitted. Everything's back to where it was. So we can go and try it. Okay then, so the wheel's been put back on, everything's been tightened up and double checked to make sure everything's okay. This is the first turn on then since we replaced the wheel sensor, and let's see what happens. Yep, straight up, no codes, nothing yet, nothing showing up, no engine light. So we'll give it a quick run and hopefully that we've done the trick. Well, we just had a short drive and straight away the run flat indicators come on again and the ABS, which signals that the sensor is not working. I've just rigged the iCarSoft up and on the wheel speeds, and initially it did say the wheels were turning, but now the left front is stopped, which is really peculiar. So I'm just going to run up this little road here now and see what it does. Okay, it looks like the left one is still not sensing a rotation of the wheel. So we've done something wrong, or there's something else wrong with the car. And so initially it worked, and then a short drive and it's just packed up again. Oh, interesting. Okay, I've just cleared the codes now, so we'll go back to the stability program, and we can look at the data, and we can look at wheel speeds. Enter. And we got nothing. Right, because so start the car up. Try it again. straight away it goes to naught. Okay, let's clear the codes again. Okay, we've cleared the codes.
On the road, just one thing to report
Turn
at
that
the
off, it
moment.
won't on, do
Lorry
it? Clear the codes. Let's go back to wheel speeds again. Wheel speeds. Okay, nothing. Turn the ignition on. There's no codes on the dash. Oh no, it comes straight up. It comes straight up. Instantly comes up before we even start driving. Just have a quick drive, see what happens. Here we go, it's moving now, it's moving. It's going. It's a bit hit and miss actually, isn't it? It's a bit hit and miss. Now it's gone on to nothing, so that's strange, that is really strange. Just pull over again. Well, I've got back home and I've jacked it up, the front end, and took both wheels off and took the sensor out on the left hand front axle, and it looked like there was a bit of fluff in there down the hole where the sensor goes. So I've just vacuumed the hole out and it's nice and clean now, and I've just put it back together and it seems to be fine. Now whether it's just that a bit of fluff or paper or some debris that got in there that would stop it from reading, hopefully it is, but since then it's been working fine. And as you can see, that's obviously the back wheels are not turning because the front wheels are in the air, but both front wheels are turning and it's picking up the wheel speed. So the sensor is actually working fine now. It's only when you put the wheels on, took it for a run, that it played up. So I'm going to put the wheels back on now and take it for another run and see what happens. Hopefully that may have cured it. Right, we've still got the same problem then with the sensor. Now, somebody said that maybe the iCarSoft has got the sensors the wrong way around. It's got them mixed up with the front right and the front left. So I've now removed the front left new sensor, which is still showing a problem, and I've removed it from the housing, from the hub. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go back inside the car, which I've jacked up. I'm going to start the car and see if it has any effect, to see if the sensor's in the same spot or it's changed. So go to diagnostics, enter Mercedes-Benz, blah blah blah, initializing, and go to the model, which is the B246, that one, enter diesel, enter 246, that's 200, Sports Tourer, that's that one there, enter manual scan, electronic stability program. First of all, clear the fault memory. There we go, there's two faults, front axle left. Okay, so we'll go back, clear the faults. Yeah, F2 is clear. Okay, we've cleared the faults. Go back again, view data, enter. Looking at wheel speeds. There we go, wheel speeds. Okay. So what happens now then? Start her up. Radio off. And we should get no wheel speed at all on the front left. Nothing at all. So in gear. Oh, shut the door. In gear, drive. So yeah, that's working. So we know it is the left-hand centre. It's not the centre's mixed up with the iCar soft got wrong way around. We know it's the left front because the right front's working fine. So it's got to be the reluctor ring now. So the next job now is to take the hub off and change the reluctor ring. So the first thing we have to do is to remove the hub, the disc. So we need an E24 Torx socket, and now this will be really tight. So I've got a bar here with an extension, and got two more sockets, wrench extensions fitted on, and that goes on there. And then with a bit of effort, quite a lot of effort actually, you can release. Now the best thing to do is put the brakes on this, but what I've done, I've jammed the disc so it won't turn, and you just simply put a bit of weight on it and off it goes. That's quite, I did loosen it off beforehand obviously, but that's what it is to get it off. And then just remove the Torx bolt from the hub, like so. Come on, there we go, that's removed. Now we remove the disc brakes rather, and that is with the caliper. That's with a E18 Torx, straightforward 2 bolts. So once you remove the caliper, you'll need to tie it up, just support it out the way, and just to take some strain off the brake hose. And the next job then is remove the disc. So again, it's a little Torx screw there, just to remove that. Take the screw out, and the disc will come off. And then you can remove the 2 strut bolts. The bottom one. Once that's taken off, you need to remove the bottom ball joint now, which is that one, which I've just slackened off. I'm just finishing off now. Get the right size spanner. There we go. And remove that nut and knock the ball joint out. Hopefully it'll go. And just like that. Just pull it apart and off it comes, and there we go. And that, I assume, is the reluctor ring. So I guess it's buggered, but we're going to remove it now and see if we can get a new one. That's the hole. That's the hole there where the sensor fits in and picks up a signal as this rotates. It looks a bit corroded, but we'll have to see. Right, we took it off the hub, and it just looks like a piece of plastic. I don't know, it's become faulty. It looks a bit corroded and the paint's coming off, but the hub actually looks quite bad. That wants good clean up, that does. There's a lot of corrosion on there. So we need to clean that up, get a new one of these, fit it on, see what happens. Okay, I finally found out that the original bit of plastic wasn't a reluctor ring at all. The reluctor is actually based in the bearing itself, the wheel bearing. So what I've got to do now is take the whole hub off, either change the bearing or, because this one's in a bit of a state, I might just go to Mercedes and buy a whole new hub with the bearing intact. I imagine that this bearing has lost its magnetism. So I'm going to whip it off now. We took the trap rounders off and everything. That came off fairly easily, which is surprising. So if we get it off, pull it off. Took it into the garage, watching the dog, because she's helping me today, because it's a two-handed job. Oh yeah, eh? Right. So this should be magnetic. Now, will you stop licking me? So it just, Rosie, stop licking. Go away. It doesn't appear to be magnetic, so I imagine because the seal's in such a state and the magnet is based in the seal, I think it's gone, and that's what the problem is. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna try and knock it out, or are we going to buy a new one from Mercedes? I've cleaned up what's left of the bearing seal. It's completely disintegrated, so there's nothing there at all. The sensor's back in, so you can see where the sensor actually comes into close proximity to the seal, magnetic seal, to get its signal. I can only imagine that what's happened is this shaft was so corroded, and because the little, I think it's called a separator, was all distorted, that when it was actually in the hub. I'll get back in again. Oh, it does fit. Back on. I can imagine that's separator was so distorted with the corrosion that it destroyed the seal. So that moving around destroyed the seal, and so we lost the impulses to the sensor. That's what I can imagine. I've cleaned the hub up a little bit now. I'm going to get a new one of these as well, because they're not very dear. And obviously this one's cracked. And I'll just clean it a little bit more and make sure it's fitted on nice and flush, and then assemble it. So it looks like I'm going to have to buy a new hub unit, because I don't fancy taking that bearing out and knackering a new one up. So I'm going to go to Mercedes and buy a new hub. So in the end, we bought a new one, brand new one, out of a box from Mercedes Edinburgh. Bought a separator ring that goes on the end of the arse shaft, and there's the new one. The old one is this one. Nothing wrong with it, nothing wrong with the bearing at least, but there was a magnetic strip built into the seal which has been destroyed by some means or other, and that's why the ABS light came on and everything stopped working. And as you can see, the new one, the seal, you can see, there you are, those little fine marks around the seal, and that's the magnetic strip, and that gives the impulses to the wheel sensor that then operates the ABS and stops the ABS EML light coming on, and we're back to normal. So quite expensive, but to get the bearing out if it's damaged, oh dear. So I just thought, oh bugger, bite the bullet, buy a brand new one. It'll fit straight on, no hassle, just straight on, so it should be an easy job to fit it back together. So we'll go and do that and then see what happens. Right, there you go though. So I cleaned all the rust off the shaft and put a bit of paint on to protect it. And this is the new separator ring that just clips straight onto there. Clipped onto that little ridge. Just push it on. There you go. That's the half shaft back in, and the new knuckle slid straight on, which is dead easy. I just have to connect the suspension arm now and the track rod ends, and it should be good to go then. Put the new sensor back in. So that's the sensor in. Right, the new knuckle is now fitted. Everything's tightened up. So we've just got to put the disc back on, the caliper, and the wheel, and then give it a try. Last job now, nearly finished, is tighten the hub centre bolt up. Everything's fitted on, calipers all done, all nice and tight. It's just this one now, which is the really tight one, so we need to tighten this up. And there we go. I've just pre-tightened it, but that's up to torque. Right, it's all torqued up now, so just need to knock the cap back on. That's it. That's all finished. Next job, put the wheel back on. Right, this is the moment of truth. Now we're going to get some speed up. Everything seems fine at the moment. Forward gears, and off we go. There we have it. Perfect. To speed. No lights on the dash. And I think we've cracked it. So just to recap then, on the B200, if you have a faulty sensor, you think it's a faulty sensor, it might not just be the sensor itself. Sensor is about 25 quid. I put the sensor on first, but it wasn't that, it was the actual bearing. The bearing that contained the magnetic strip. But it's working perfect now, so it's not a hard job, it's actually quite easy. The hardest part is getting the money together to buy a new knuckle. But once that's done, it is a simple job. Okay, till next time.